right, guys, second part of laws of exponents. So I'll just put this at the top again. Laws of exponents. Okay, so what we are going to talk about in this video is three things. We have power to a power, we have power to a product, and power to a quotient. So these are the three that we're going to focus on today. And then we will focus on two others next week. I'm sorry, these are the three we're going to do today. Sorry, I just got a low battery thing on my phone, so I was paying attention to that. All right, so the first one, power to a power, the algebra is this. We have a to the m. That entire thing is raised to the nth power. So here, when you have a power, that's this, that's being raised to a power, you have to multiply your exponents. So this is going to give you, try and separate this so I don't go into the next spot. So this is going to give you a to the mn for your answer. You're just going to multiply the two. That's all. For an example of that, let's take a look. So we'll do an example. So if we have x to the third, and that's being raised to the fourth power, all you have to do is x to the third times 4, and that's going to give you x to the 12th as your answer. So that was our answer there. That's our answer for that one. Okay? And the reason that we can do that, so why this works, is this reason. So if we have x to the third being raised to the fourth, what this tells us is that we have 4 of these bases that we're multiplying together, 4 of these powers that we're multiplying together. So we have x to the third times x to the third times x to the third times x to the third. So remember, when you're multiplying same bases, you add your exponents together. So that's why we end up getting x to the 3, 6, 9, 12. That's where we get the x to the 12th from. So that's why that works. So what you want to remember is keep the base and multiply the exponents. So that's all you want to do. So you want to remember to keep the base and multiply the exponents. Sorry if my handwriting's kind of messy. It's not easy to write in this setup here. I miss my desk. All right, so that's power to a power. So if I give you a quick example down here at the bottom, these are pretty simple. So if we have a to the 9th, and that's being raised to the third power, we're just going to get a to the 27th for our answer for that. That's all. All right, so let's look at power to a product. So for power to a product, the algebra, here's what this is going to look like. So for the algebra, we have a, b to the nth power. basically, this is saying that A needs to be raised to the nth power and B needs to be raised to the nth power. So when you have an exponent on the outside of a set of parentheses, everything on the inside has to be raised to that power. So this is going to be A to the nth, B to the nth. Okay, so we'll look at an example of this, what it will look like. So if we have F to the third, G to the fifth, and all of that is being raised to the seventh. This indicates, remember, that this out here says that we have 7 of these quantities. So if we have 7 of these quantities, that means we have 7 of these and 7 of these. So we could add 3 7 times or add 5 7 times, or do our shortcut and just do this times this exponent and this times this exponent. So that is going to give us F to the 21st, G to the 35th is going to be the answer for that. Again, because you have 7 of these, F to the thirds, and you have 7 G to the fifths that you're multiplying, so just multiply your exponents as a shortcut. Okay? So I could show you why it works, but it's exactly the same thing as what we have here. It's going to take up a ton of space. All right? So 7 of these and 7 of these. So that's why we're going to add those together. All right, let's take a look. So for this, to remember what you need to remember. And then we'll look at an example. So what you want to remember for this is to raise everything in the parentheses by the exponent on the, we'll say outside, to remind you that it all has to be raised to everything that's on the outside. All right, I'll give you a minute to copy that. So keep the base, multiply your exponents. Here, raise everything by the exponent outside, basically is what you want to remember for that. All right, so let's look at another example. So we'll do one with some numbers in it. So now we have 4 R to the second, S to the ninth, and all of that is being raised to the third power. So this basically is saying that we have 3 of these quantities. So we have 3 of these, 3 of these, and 3 of these. So what that means is if I'm multiplying 3 of these, 4 to the third power gives us 64. R to the second to the third power, it's a power to a power, so we multiply our exponents. We get R to the 6th. Here we have 3 of these quantities, so S to the 9th, we've got 3 of those, so multiply and you get S to the 27th, and that would be your final simplified answer. All right, and the very last one. So we'll do the algebra. We have the power to a quotient. This one is, let me get my example here. So this one, if we have A divided by B, and all of that is being raised to the nth power, again, it's the same thing as this. That means this gets raised to that power, and this also gets raised to that power. So it's A to the nth over B to the nth. That's all that that means. So let's look at an example for that. All right, so if we have x divided by y, and all of that is being raised to the 6th power. So this is going to be x to the 6th and y to the 6th. That's it. And in this case, we can't simplify any further because this and this are different bases. So we can't subtract the exponents. There's nothing for us to cancel out here. So this is going to be your final answer for that one. All right, so let's do a remember for this one. So remember, here you're going to raise numerator and denominator by the exponent on the, I'll put again outside, put it in easy terms there, put it on the outside. So you want to raise the numerator and the denominator by the exponent that's on the outside. And with all of these, the last thing you always need to remember is to simplify with all positive exponents. But we're going to talk about that later. But I want to include that in here. Simplify with all positive exponents. The examples that I've given you have just been positive exponents because that's all we're focusing on right now. But you want to make sure you simplify everything. All right, so let's look at one more example here. So let's do 7b over c all to the 2nd power. So everything inside gets raised to the 2nd power. This is saying you have 2 of these quantities. So you have 2 of these and you have 2 of these. So 7 to the 2nd is 49. B to the 2nd is b to the 2nd all over c to the 2nd power. And that would be your final answer because there's nothing you can simplify. This is like a 1 here, and that's not going to simplify, and these are different bases, so you can't simplify. All right, good luck. Let us know if you have questions.